Hey, you! Ronald! I've just got one thing to say to you. You're fired.
Huh? What's happening? Oh, good morning, Mr. Potter, sir. What's with this all of a sudden? I don't understand what's going on, sir.
There was a huge mistake done in the Woods Company project, and it's your fault. I've already checked this out with the department manager, Mr. Gray, and something needs to be done about it. I'm taking care of the matter, as you're the one who's responsible for this mess. From today, you're not to come into the office. You've been officially fired.
Why are you firing me for? What did I do? Okay, but even though you've said that a couple of times already, I don't quite understand why this is happening. Can I explain what happened so that I can understand your decision as to why you're doing this?
I don't want to hear any of your excuses, Ronald. I'll send all the stuff that you've left on your desk later in the day. There's no need for you to pick it up. You're not to come here again.
Please don't do anything to the personal belongings on my desk. Not until I know what's going on.
Oh, so you want to play hardball, huh? You know I can play that game too. Let's just throw all your things into the garbage, shall we? Don't even think about coming by this office ever again. You've been forbidden to enter the building. Nobody wants to see your face around here again.
But sir, I don't understand why this decision has been made. But fine, I won't step a foot in the office again. I'll do as you say, sir. Hey, Melissa, look, something bad has happened and I really need to talk to you about it. Have you got some time right now to talk? I could really use your advice right now.
Ronald, are you okay? What's going on? Did something happen?
Yeah, it's not good. I've got no idea what I did. I just got a message from Mr. Potter. It was during the day and I was minding my own business, and then this. He told me that the company just suddenly decided to fire me, so he told me he was dealing with my firing.
Excuse me? What the heck? Are you saying you just got fired? Why are you even being fired in the first place? Like why now? At this time of day?
Well, if I say it how it exactly happened, it went like this. I got a message from Mr. Potter, my manager. He said that there was a mistake in the Woods Company project. He then said that he had just checked it over with Mr. Gray and that it fell on my shoulders, and that it was all my fault and that I'm not to come back to the office. That's the conversation I had with Mr. Potter. I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Okay now, just hang on a second. But isn't Mr. Gray the one who makes all these decisions, not Mr. Potter? I don't understand why Mr. Gray isn't the one talking to you about what happened.
I'm curious about that too. That's why I wanted to message you about it to see what you thought. Unless if he wanted Mr. Potter to deal with this situation, it really should be Mr. Gray who reported to me about it, not a person below him. I don't get it. I guess he's your father and all, so I thought he would deal with it.
I have no idea, Ronald. No matter what way you think about it, he can't just possibly fire you without probable cause. Or at least explain himself.
I was actually planning to call Mr. Gray to talk about it to him directly. But he seemed to have turned off his phone, so the call isn't going through.
Apparently, last night he slept a lot for the first time in a long time because he said he'd turn off his phone. Well, surely he's awake right now, but I wonder if his phone is still turned off and he's forgotten to turn it back on.
Oh, is that what you think has happened? You might be onto something there.
Yeah, just hang on a minute there, Ronald. I'll listen to what he has to say on the matter. Just give me a few minutes and I'll come back.
I'm sorry about all of this, Melissa, but thank you for your help so far. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Ronald, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. I hope I wasn't away for long.
You're fine. It's only been about 10 minutes. So were you able to get anything out of him? What happened?
So, he told me that he has no recollection of any interaction with Mr. Potter regarding the Woods Company project. He said that he wouldn't let anyone do something like that while he's in his current position. It's something he wouldn't do in the first place. He would have come to you if there were any issues.
Is that right? That makes sense. I just don't understand what Mr. Potter's doing by messaging me that I'm fired.
Yeah, so that's what my father has to say about that. He seems very confused by the situation as well. Ronald, are you able to come by the house right now?
Right now? What for? What else have I done wrong?
Nothing, but I think maybe it's to discuss what's going on with Mr. Potter. I don't think it's something my father wants to talk about over a message. He said that if we could, we should discuss things face to face and talk over dinner. Also, he said the president of the company will be attending as well.
I'm sorry, what? Even the president of the company? This has got to be something really bad, right? If he's gotten involved. But would it be okay for my sudden interruption, though? I don't want to disturb if they're discussing important work-related matters.
Don't worry about that. But if you're worried about the food situation, it's okay, as I was originally planning on having food delivered today. So feel free to come over if you'd like. I'll see you later, okay? But it sounds like my father wants to eat and have a drink with his future son, Ronald. So you can chill and talk to my father. I'm sure he'll listen to you.
Oh, really? I can't actually believe that. But yes, I'll see you in a bit for dinner. It'll be nice to have a drink with your father. If that's what you want me to do, I'll come over and bother your family.
Of course. We want you to be here. Take care getting over here. I'll see you soon.
Hey, Ronald, I need your attention right now. Where are tomorrow's meeting materials that were supposed to be on your desk? I swear they were put down here. Without the materials, the meeting can't go ahead. This is urgent. Hurry up and tell me where they are. Just because you don't work here anymore doesn't mean you can just ignore my messages.
Hey, Melissa. I wanted to thank you so much for your advice and support yesterday. I really appreciate it. I'm really glad I was able to talk to your father and the president of the company.
No, thank you for coming over and talking with him. They very much enjoyed your company.
Even so, thank you for inviting me. I never expected something like this to happen behind all the office crap that goes on.
Right, yeah. I'm quite surprised by how they interact as well. It's much more chill than an office building.
Yeah, they're very concerned about the situation, though. If that's the case, I'll wait and see about what Mr. Potter does. I'll try not to react to anything he's doing until the situation changes. For the meantime, none of it matters to me right now.
Exactly! That's a good way to put it. You don't need to worry about what Mr. Potter does until the situation unfolds.
Yeah, I know it's a little early, but I'm going to take a shower and go to bed. This whole thing has been quite exhausting. Tell your father I said hello, and thank you for talking things out with me the other night.
Fair enough. I would too in your situation. Of course I'll tell him you said that. Good night. I hope you have a good night's sleep.
Thank you, Melissa. Sweet dreams to you.
Okay. Ronald, I'm sick of not getting a reply out of you. The materials that I asked for yesterday weren't completed. Now I've got to go to the Woods Company and tell them how sorry we are that everything has fallen behind. It's all your fault, Ronald. What are you thinking messing around like this? Ronald, answer me, man. What does it mean that you've been absent without as much as a peep out of you since yesterday, huh? You're gonna be in some deep trouble if you're not careful.
Day 3.
Ronald, this is the third time I'm contacting you and you've not answered me. Aren't you coming in today? You can't just be absent without letting anyone know about it, right? That's what I'm going to ask. The proposal I told you to make for Jones Company. What's going on with that? I can't get into your work laptop because I haven't got a clue what the password is. So what is it? Seriously, man. What are you planning on doing about all of this?
Hey, Ronald. How have you been since all the crap went down about your work? Have there been any more developments on that? Has Mr. Potter gotten back to you with anything? What has he been saying?
Hi. Oh, yes, he's been saying quite a bit. He's been sending so many messages every day over the past few days. And that same person just turned around and said that I'm absent without getting permission. I don't understand. He's the one that said I'm fired the other day.
Come to think of it, he said Mr. Potter sent a message saying that to you the other day. I might as well tell you. Mr. Potter has a really bad drinking habit.
Huh? What are you talking about? Are you saying he's an alcoholic?
Well, you know how if you drink too much alcohol, your memory starts to get worse over time, right?
Yes, I guess I've been told that before. A colleague who's accompanied me on a night out once said something like that can happen. It was a Saturday that I received his message about getting fired, so I thought he might have been working on his day off or something. He got all worked up about the Woods Company project I was working on and how I made some sort of mistake. Then he told me I was fired. But he must have still been drunk, and now he can't remember that he actually said that and thinks I'm not showing up for work. Oh my god, it's all falling into place now.
Yeah, my father has had it with Mr. Potter in that he can't handle his nonsense.
I guess if I were to look back through my message history, I can see when he was drunk or not. Maybe it's just something I didn't notice?
I suppose so. Even though he's in the same generation as my father, he still remains only a manager. You'd think he'd be in a higher job position by now.
Really? I suppose his drinking problem's holding him back and creating so many problems.
Ronald, this is getting beyond a joke. Reply to your messages, man. What's the password for your work laptop? The department manager just asked me for the progress on another company's proposal. And it's stuck on your laptop. Hurry up and tell me the password. This is urgent. I'm sick of you no replying. Get to work on time and get on with the project. Stop being so irresponsible. Hey, you! Ronald! Stop ignoring your supervisor. There's another company that's needing their proposal looked over. What the heck do you think you're doing by not replying and not showing up to work? You're gonna regret ignoring me. All the companies that work for us instructed you to do everything for them. Even though I'm the one who submitted it under my name instead of yours, this is gonna go very bad if things continue like this. Ronald, answer me! What's wrong with you, boy? Hey, Ronald, for goodness sake, I'm here to tell you that the General Affairs Department are going to take away your work laptop tomorrow. All the documents I had to do for all these companies are also on your laptop. This is ridiculous. It's like talking to a wall. Oh yes, isn't there also data on there that deals with the internal stuff at work? If I don't do something about it, it's going to be all my fault, even though it's all your work I'm trying to get. Hurry up and tell me the password. I'm begging you to tell me. Ronald, you've not replied to a single message for a whole week. Cut the crap and reply to me right now. I'm not going to stop sending you messages until you've replied to me. My performance rating will go down if you don't show up to work. I'll come over to your house and drag you here if I must do that so I don't lose my job.
Good morning, Mr. Potter. It's quite early to be messaging me now, isn't it?
Excuse me? What do you mean by that? It's a normal time for people to be awake. You're finally replying to me now, huh? What took you so long? Don't you realize how many days you've missed? Why aren't you showing up? You're making me so furious to the point that I'm gonna pop so many blood vessels. And our department manager as well.
Even so, all the companies you were mentioning, when you think about it, you were forcing me to do a lot of the work, weren't you?
What the heck are you talking about, boy? It's normal for the boss to assign the work to his workers, isn't it? That's how it works here. You weren't absent from work without anybody's permission, and you were slacking off. I was the one that had to finish the work for you, so I sent the proposals to the companies that were requesting them. You need to get to work right now. If you get to work in the next 30 minutes, then I won't fire you and I'll forgive you for not showing up. That's what Mr. Gray has been saying to me as well.
Oh, is that so, Mr. Potter? Don't you remember saying to me that I'm fired and that I don't need to come into the office anymore?
I never said that to you. Why would I say that to you? What are you talking about, man?
Maybe it's because you were so drunk at the time you were messaging that to me and you were just saying what your heart desired?
I haven't got a clue what you're on about. I don't remember that at all. What are you saying?
Well, It's too late to take it all back now. I would go back and check your chat history if I were you. That might jog your memory. Actually, you might want to go back even before that conversation was had. You do realize that Mr. Gray and I quit our jobs on the same day over 10 days ago, right?
Huh? What's that supposed to mean? You both quit your jobs? And you didn't say anything to me about it? Not just who you quit, but Mr. Gray as well? No way! That can't be true!
The general manager decided to start his own business, and he wanted us to join him in starting a new company. So we ended up quitting our jobs together. I assume you didn't notice that happening?
I thought he was just going on a business trip and then he'd be back soon to do his duties.
There was an announcement almost a month ago through the internal chats and through the department's morning meeting. After talking it through with Mr. Gray, he gave all my portfolios that I had for all the other companies we worked for to another colleague. Honestly, it would be an unreasonable thing to say to someone to get back to work now when I chose to quit my job now, wouldn't it, Mr. Potter? I wouldn't have been so bothered about it if I hadn't quit my job, but I have, and now I'm an outsider discussing confidential information with an ex-coworker of mine. That's not the best look, Mr. Potter.
But it's only because you never replied to me and it took you so long to do so. Why?
Yes, it did. I thought that you would notice eventually what's going on, but another employee had to make it more obvious to you. I couldn't bear to be so persistent, so I sent a reply like this to get back at you for the way you've been treating me.
This can't be happening right now. Are you serious? Okay. You need to tell me who each case was assigned to right now. I'm supposed to be the creator, so I'd be in big trouble if someone submitted documents without my permission or not checking them with me first.
Huh? I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, Mr. Potter. What do you mean? Isn't it no longer necessary for you to be the creator of those documents, Mr. Potter?
Huh? What do you mean by that? Why not? I don't get it. What's going on here?
Didn't anyone tell you that the company is filing for bankruptcy?
Are you kidding me? Bankruptcy? Is this a joke?
It's no joke, sir. I received a message from a former colleague saying that they had talked about it in this morning's meeting. I never thought something like this would happen to the company, so I thought the best idea was to quit before things got worse. I suppose you haven't got to work yet, so you don't know the details?
I'm on my way to work right now.
Oh, is that so? Well, I guess you didn't get over your habit of being late to work then?
Now, just rewind back a little bit. I don't get why the company's filing for bankruptcy. Does that mean that I'm unemployed from today onwards until I get another job?
Well, I guess so. If you're fine with that, I guess you've got no choice but to be employed now.
But what am I supposed to do now? I've been at this company for so long already. This has got to be the worst thing to happen to me. How am I supposed to get a job after all this happening?
I don't know. You've got to figure it out. I'm going to leave you to it. Please excuse me. After this, Mr. Potter apparently went home instead of going to work. Of course, it seems that an explanation of what happened was given in some form at a later date. There was talking about arranging a new job. Mr. Potter was so drunk that he didn't listen to everything. By the way, he's single, in his 50s, his parents have passed away, he has no siblings or family, so unfortunately not a lot going for him. He started drinking alcohol all day long thinking about what he should do with his life. One day, he was rushed to the hospital due to acute alcohol poisoning. But there was no one to take care of him, feed him, shelter him, so he didn't recover very well. The other day, he was released from the hospital and into a specialized facility. I do feel quite sorry for the guy, but I just wish he would have nothing to do with me ever again.
Hello, Mark. There's a few things I want to discuss with you. What an unexpected surprise. Please go ahead. And also, thank you for having me over the other day. First of all, I want to make this clear. I am not your father. What do you mean? Don't act all warm and friendly and call me father. I don't remember having a son who dropped out of high school. But the last time we met, I hid my feelings because my wife and Cynthia were present. I didn't want to create a scene, so I didn't say anything. I see. But you're still in favor of our wedding, right? Stop it! You're getting ahead of yourself. I heard you and Cynthia were classmates in high school before you dropped out. Yes, that's right. What did you do after you dropped out? You know Cynthia went to university after high school. Well, it's a little difficult to explain. I heard you stayed home all day. Well, that's one way of looking at it. So you're a loser. No, that's not me. Well, then what were you doing? I used the time to learn the ins and outs of computers and the internet. So, what you're saying is you became a nerd. I guess I can't help if that's what you think of me, but there are many types of nerds. All I know is when people your age were busy studying, looking for work, you took advantage of your parents' generosity and an unproductive life. Unproductive life? It wasn't a big deal. And I was able to use that experience to benefit my present job. A company that hires loser nerds? There aren't any charitable goody-two-shoes companies like that, especially in the US. Father, is it safe for me to say you don't like me? I don't mean to be rude, but you're just paltering and I don't understand where this conversation is heading. Don't make me repeat myself, don't call me father. This is why I cannot have a conversation with people who've dropped out of high school. They make me repeat the same things over and over again. You remind me of the high school dropouts at my company. Mr. Williams, I think you have a prejudice against high school dropouts. How dare you presume anything about me? You haven't even graduated from high school. Nowadays, educational accreditation isn't as important as it used to be. Only someone with no education would say that. I see. Can we agree you don't want me to marry Cynthia? I don't even like you saying my darling daughter's name. You high school dropout loser. The education bit, the loser bit, it's gone beyond a simple misunderstanding. Can you base your opinion of me on my current job and my salary? Your salary? There's no way a high school dropout salary is worth bragging about. Is that so? I don't mind showing you my pay stubs if it eases your mind. Your pay stubs, they can be forged. I think you've gone too far. I'm not someone who would do something like that. Anyhow, I wouldn't believe anything from a goody-two-shoes company that hires loser nerds. No matter how hard you try, there is no way I will allow you to marry my daughter. How can you say such hurtful things about a company you don't know? I can easily find out things about your company by asking some of the other employees. But I'm sure it's a place that attracts high school dropout losers. You're incorrect. My company is a well-known company on the New York Stock Exchange. You cannot begin to understand what a great company it is. The charitable company offering handouts? Look, I don't know how to explain myself, so you'll believe me. Even if you worked for a Fortune 500 company with a six-figure salary, I would still say no to this marriage. Why? Marriage equals children, right? The child will have your DNA. That's right. What's the problem? You're going to give me a grandchild who has genes of a high school dropout. There's no point in continuing this conversation. I realize now that we will never understand each other. Good boy. You finally understand my reservations. Promise me you'll quickly break up with my daughter and never go near her again. I can't promise you that. But Cynthia and I will have a long, serious discussion. Though you are a high school dropout, you do know how fragile people's feelings are. End the relationship to avoid causing Cynthia any further pain. Hey, what's going on? Cynthia hasn't been home in days! Why don't you ask Cynthia yourself? I have. She's ignoring all my calls and messages. I know you are behind this. Yes, but even if I were to explain it to you, you know you wouldn't believe me. You animal! You tricked my daughter into leaving home! I didn't trick her. I just told her the truth. I know what you're thinking. You want Cynthia because her college education has landed her a high-paying job. You want her money! Do you know what you're saying? Remember how I'd convinced you to break up with her? But then you remembered her salary, and you coaxed her back. I never said I would break up with her, not even once. I told you to break up with Cynthia to avoid causing her any further pain. To which I replied we would have a long, serious discussion, not a breakup conversation. Don't act so high and mighty, you high school dropout. You are so obnoxious. Cynthia felt sick when she found out about what a bigot you are. I never told Cynthia anything. She didn't hear it from me. But when you contacted me, Cynthia happened to be with me, and she was looking at the messages while sitting next to me. I can't believe you're the type of person who shows others private WhatsApp chats. Normally I wouldn't show my chats to anyone, but you are Cynthia's father. Don't you have any honor towards your fellow man? Wait a second. I never expected the chat to be such a smear campaign. Sorry, Mr. Williams, but this is all on you. Smear campaign? What are you talking about? This is why I hate your generation. I only spoke the truth. Whether it be the truth or not, Cynthia started crying in the middle of her chat. You made her cry? No, I'm not the one at fault. I don't feel comfortable getting married while you and I are crossing swords. So I've tried to convince her to go home. Then Cynthia's coming home? No, she's obstinate about not returning. But her clothes, her things! Don't worry, we've bought her new things. How dare you waste Cynthia's hard-earned money? You're not only a loser and nerd, but a freeloader as well. You scoundrel. Mr. Williams, have you been paying attention? We bought Cynthia's things, not mine. It's your fault she ran away from home. It's your responsibility as a man to pay for her things. Okay, that makes sense. I'm sure you won't be able to support her for long on your high school dropout salary. That's why you're making Cynthia pay for her things herself. I'm embarrassed for you. I wonder who's embarrassed of whom. I couldn't care less anymore what you think of me. You are aware Cynthia has led a life without any financial burdens, thanks to me. I'm sure she'll quickly realize how difficult life with you is. Anyways, tell Cynthia to come home soon. Do we understand each other? Why don't you wait patiently for her to return? She is an adult after all. You really irk me. I'm sure she'll use up all her savings living with you, a high school dropout. Just because I went a little overboard with my objections. I know it'll end soon, so I've decided I'll wait it out. Thank you for your understanding. Have a nice day. I can't believe the nerve of you. Long time no speak. What is this long time no speak nonsense? That's enough. Have Cynthia come home now. Unfortunately, due to her health, it's unsafe for her to fly. What? Her health? Fly? What are you talking about? I beg your pardon. I thought Mother had informed you. She hasn't told me anything. What do you mean, fly? Have you been transferred to some remote, terribly inconvenient location? I'm sure it's because you made a mistake or something. You haven't changed a bit. We're currently living in Zurich, Switzerland, on top of which Cynthia is pregnant. Pregnant? You rascal, what have you done? How dare you? I'm constantly in touch with Mother about our lives here. Mother understands what's going on. You're so lucky to have such a terrific wife. Who do you think you are? I haven't heard anything. Really? But that's between you and your wife. I don't want to get in the middle. What are you two doing in Switzerland? Have Cynthia come back to the States at once! That's impossible. I'm here for work. It is one of the safest countries in the world.
It may be safe in the city. I'm sure if you go to the outskirts, there are hoodlums and gang members.
If you're so worried, why don't you come here and check it out for yourself?
Why do I have to go abroad? You guys get back here now.
But Mother has visited a couple of times.
What? She has?
Yes, when Cynthia first discovered her pregnancy, Mother flew out to help us out.
How did she get the money? Does she hide money from me?
Don't worry, I paid for her airfare, etc.
Ha! What a ridiculous lie!
You are such an impossible person. Isn't it about time you heard what I do for a living?
I'm not interested in hearing what a high school dropout does for a living.
But for you to assume I have a terrible job based on my education, I have my pride, you know.
It's not an assumption, it's the truth.
I give up. I'm a trader for an investment bank. I won't name the company as I don't want to give you a heart attack.
How stupid do you think I am?
I dropped out of high school and stayed home so I could study on my own.
That's what all the losers say.
No way. In the beginning I wasn't making a lot of money. But I gradually began to understand global markets, so I moved abroad.
That sounds fishy.
You can think whatever you want, but the truth is I moved here when I was younger so I could learn more about the European market.
What? Switzerland!
I began as an assistant in my current company here.
What nonsense, I'm sure it's all lies.
If you are this suspicious, there's no way you'll ever believe me. The schools are different in Europe, and the fact I didn't finish high school really didn't make a difference.
What's the name of the company?
It's Silverman Sachs.
You must be joking. Even an old man like me can see right through it.
You still won't believe me.
Talk is cheap. I'll use my many connections to find out the truth about you.
You will? Thank you. And if you still can't accept me, I will give up as well.
Shut up! Give me back my daughter ASAP!
That's another complicated discussion, so I'll get back to you. Have a nice day.
Mark, I have something important I need to ask you.
Mr. Williams, what can I do for you?
No, you may call me father. I believe you now that I know what your job is.
Oh, I'm happy you finally believe me.
I know we had some misunderstandings in the past, but I will admit you are a suitable partner for my daughter.
Misunderstandings? I can't believe how you've belittled our issues.
Can you stop with the attitude? And like I said, there's something I wanted to ask you.
What is it?
My wife hasn't been home for the past few days. Is it possible she's with you and Cynthia?
Yes, she's here with us. She told us you two got divorced.
Divorced? Nothing's been decided yet. I'm against it.
But no matter what you think, Mr. Williams, it will be decided in a court of law.
Court of law? What are you talking about?
You were quite belligerent about my education, but it was shocking to find out you've always been belligerent towards your family.
What do you mean belligerent?
You've been mean to Mother, right?
What does that have to do with getting a divorce? I married her right after she graduated from junior college, so she could be a housewife, a stay-at-home mother. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with being belligerent every now and then.
No, there is a problem with being belligerent. The fact that you don't see that as a problem, it doesn't speak well of you.
Hold on. Does this mean both my wife and daughter will be living with you from now on?
Yeah, I think so. Cynthia will be with me until death do us part. If you want, Mr. Williams, you're more than welcome to come as well.
Ha! Me! How dare you!
But what about our misunderstandings? If you're willing to fly out here, I'll make time so we can sort everything out.
That's not going to happen. You know I'm a proud man.
Too bad.
Can you do me a favor and just come back to the States?
That's impossible. Plus, we have Cynthia's due date coming up soon. It isn't wise for us to travel anywhere at the moment.
Ah, don't say that. Be a pal. I want to see my grandchild as well. I want to spend time with everyone here in the States.
In that case, why don't you have enough love for your wife and daughter to get on an airplane and come here? Is it because you're such a proud man?
It's not that. I'm afraid.
Afraid of what?
I'm scared to leave the U.S. People don't speak English. You never know what'll happen.
Mr. Williams, you graduated from university. How can you be scared of leaving the U.S.? I went to Switzerland when I was 18. Me, the high school dropout.
What does education have to do with that?
Is that so? But don't you use a person's education to judge them? I figured because you're a university graduate, you know so much more than me, including how to overcome fear.
They don't teach you that in university. So let's compromise. Why don't we meet in the middle?
What do you mean in the middle?
There's a direct flight from Zurich to New York, right? There's a direct flight from here to JFK as well. So why don't we meet in New York?
The middle, it's still in the US. Anyways, for us, it's impossible.
Oh, come on. Even this is me getting out of my comfort zone. I will apologize to my wife and daughter, and of course to you.
No, thank you. And I just heard from Cynthia and Mother, even if you came to Zurich, they told me to tell you they never want to see your face again. They don't even want to talk to you, so please communicate with them through your lawyer.
Wait! You realize it's me who's offering to get out of my comfort zone. We only need to make a single flight.
The birth of our child takes precedence. Nothing will change that. I also want to protect Mother. Mr. Williams, please enjoy your life. Though there's no one left for you to be belligerent towards.
Wait a second. You know you're committing a crime.
That's rich. Me committing a crime. Then let's start with your trial. There's no way I will ever be convicted. Mr. Williams stuck to his belief that he's afraid to leave the States and didn't come to visit us, and I continued my career moving from one financial hub to the next. I never saw Mr. Williams again. Mr. Williams would not agree to a divorce and made such a fuss that Mother ended up agreeing to forgo any alimony in exchange for the divorce. It took 3 years, but the divorce was finalized. In the end, Mr. Williams lost his family. Both Cynthia and Mother were filled with contempt towards him. Even at work, his antagonistic attitude did him no favors. Everyone was sick of him. You know the man on the subway who's all alone and looks out the window grumbling to himself? That's what Mr. Williams is now.